We acknowledge the Gandangara people, traditional custodians of the land on which we are speaking to you from. In the spirit of reconciliation, we also acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples today. Thanks for checking out this virtual tour of Tarlo River Passive House. I'm Kel, one of the house's owners, and I've lived here for just on 12 months with my husband Duncan, who you'll meet a little bit later. The house sits on a 100-acre bush block located in the southern tablelands of New South Wales. Our decision to build a passive house here was decided pretty quickly after we'd lived on site for a few years in a temporary shed house where we experienced temperatures ranging from -10 degrees to 46 degrees and a highly unreliable power grid. However, living on site also confirmed that we wanted to build something pretty special here architecturally to make the most of our building pad's incredible views while minimising our impact on the surrounding environment. Fortunately, Sue Connor from Gaea Architects and Darren Parkinson from Eclipse Passive House and their combined team of certified passive house designers and tradespeople were very much up to our challenge. Their response to our brief was perfect for the site and our requirements, but pretty unconventional for a passive house, with a floor plan comprising 3 interconnected pavilions and lots of glass to take in the views. Their construction approach was also not conventional. Our 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 180 square metre house sits on concrete piers and a steel frame, and our floors, walls and roof were constructed using Eclipse Passive House's panels, which were all prefabricated off-site. For those that like the technical detail, the roof panels specifically are 240mm LVL timber framing with 240mm cellulose insulation and a Proclima Extazana external weather resistive barrier. The wall and roof panels are comprised of 240mm timber stud framing and 240mm of cellulose insulation with a Proclima Intello internal vapour control membrane and Proclima Extazana external weather resistant barrier. They also feature internal and external cavity battens. When you live in a rural area, it can be challenging to get tradespeople out to site. So building using Eclipse Passive House's prefabricated building system, supported by their network of experienced trades, really was the best option for us. And prefabricating the main elements of the house in factory-controlled conditions using precision manufacturing techniques also made it significantly easier to achieve passive house performance standards cost-effectively. This is why the house achieved a final blower door test result of 0.57 air changes per hour at 50 Pascal. And it's why our final certification application is with the Passive House Institute for assessment currently. We think this is pretty impressive, especially when you consider the complexity of the design. If you're interested in learning more about this construction process, you can check out our 2021 Sustainable House Day tour, which includes a time-lapse capturing our house being installed in just 10 days in the middle of winter. Our windows and external doors are from the Logic House Logic Win 88mm triple glaze range, which complies with all local standards, including BAL 29 bushfire ratings, and is Passive House certified for warm temperature climates. We also selected spruce for our internal frames, as this option offers the best insulation value. As you can see, the house features many fixed windows to frame views, as well as tilt-only and tilt-and-turn windows. We've also installed Nordic Blinds honeycomb blinds in our bedrooms, and they're brilliant product for bathrooms to provide privacy and support temperature management. The house runs with a Stiebel Eltron heat recovery ventilation unit. Given the extremes we experience with external temperatures, we've also installed a small energy-efficient air conditioner, ceiling fans, and an Austroflam wood fire for active cooling and heating. The wood fire, something we know is a controversial inclusion as there's questions around whether they're actually needed in Australian builds, is specifically designed for passive houses with internal ceiling and an external air feed. Our kitchen is fitted with a NABA Compare Bixo balanced extract and supply system, which allows external air in when the range hood is running, but has an airtight seal on both the intake and vent when the range hood is off. We also invested in a KNX home automation system to help run the house. Our system is primarily designed to maintain our house's internal comfort level with very little interaction. It achieves this by monitoring and using data collected from temperature, humidity, and CO2 sensors inside the house, and external temperature and humidity sensors to automatically adjust the HRV and air conditioning to manage cooling and heating. We also use KNX programs to manage our lighting. As you'd expect for a passive house, we chose lighting options and appliances with excellent energy ratings and prioritise using materials and products with solid sustainability and healthy living credentials. For example, our inbuilt cabinetry has been designed to minimise dust collection. It's formaldehyde-free, and our bench tops are composite stone made using recycled materials. Our painters use low VOC or VOC-free paints, sealers and varnishes. And our Forbo marmoleum flooring is made from natural raw materials using a production process that is CO2 neutral without offsetting. It's also comfortable underfoot for those with old bones and great if you have dogs. Being largely off-grid and responsible for our water and septic system, we installed an Econocycle aerated wastewater treatment system that treats our wastewater to irrigation standards and disperses it well away from the river, which runs into Sydney's main water supply. The house is run using a 10 kilowatt solar system and 10 kilowatt battery, supported by a generator and grid backup when necessary. All potable water is sourced from roofs and stored in tanks that have a combined capacity of around 100,000 litres. Experiencing a bushfire when we first moved here also influenced our decision to select products and building methods providing maximum protection. Our building approval required us to build to BAL 19 on 3 sites and BAL 29 on the 4th. However, we decided to build to BAL 29 standards at a minimum and up-spec to products specified for flame zone requirements where budget permitted. The house is clad in ColourBond, although you will notice we have a small amount of timber too, which is slower burning recycled treated hardwood. The deck surrounding the house is constructed using Modwood Flame Shield, a product made